Yo, you know what? Yo, shouts to old people with great advice, bro.
Wow.
You ever talk to like an old person?
You
ever talk to like a real old person? Like, but, like life has bent them over.
Bro, they kind of gross me out.
Nah,
I've never done it.
You gotta ask questions, bro. Don't ask like, yo, how'd you get crooked? Don't ask that, but like, just good advice. You know what I'm talking about? Say some shit. And also, what about old people that are like still cool?
Okay, so as you said this, unfortunately, this piece of advice that I got recently from a neighbor of mine in Kansas City came to mind, which is like completely unprovoked, by the way. Make sure you have as much sex as you can when you're like, okay,
Yeah.
There we
Thank
go.
you.
know
This
what?
is what I'm talking about.
I'm
I
a
was
star.
just
I
like-
said it, and the heavens graced us with an
But
example.
you know what? Like, it's not even that, like, yes, you can get some, like, good advice, but you're never asking for it.
No, no.
Okay.
Never like,
Yeah.
hey, hey.
The unsolicited kind is sometimes the best kind.
At my wedding, I overheard one of my wife's like almost great grandmother level. You know what I mean? Like that old, like older than her grandmother person in the family said, "Hey, make sure you respect each other in the house." And then she said, "Keep his balls empty and his stomach full."
You know what it is?
Whoa.
Grandma!
Hold on.
Yo, yo,
She is down.
That's
bro.
crazy.
Damn.
There's at some point that you
That's
hit
crazy.
when you hit a certain
you
age.
stop caring.
When you hit a certain age, it stops being harassment. You know what I mean? It's just wisdom.
Yeah. Oh, if I would say that to someone walking by while I'm a construction worker, all of a sudden I'm harassing. But this old lady, and I was just like, yo, we need to listen to this sage
Got it.
human being.
I don't know. I hope I care like a little bit. When I'm
Nah, I
Like
want
a
to be.
little bit.
I want to be so old that I steal stuff and they let me. You know what I mean?
It's no longer a
You
crime.
know, hey, what are you gonna do? Yell at that guy? You know?
He's so old and he's telling me to go have sex.
Yeah.
Let him go,
like,
He
hey,
keeps
officer.
telling people to empty balls, and there's no one here.
Let him go. Let him go. He's got a diaper hanging out of his backpack.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay.
But it says
Right.
Carhartt on it.
Hello,
You
everyone.
would work hard.
100%.
Let's get this train moving. We haven't even left the station.
Yeah.
Cooligans, buddy.
What's up? Welcome to the Cooligans. My name is Christian Polanco.
I'm Alexis Guerreros, and we have a guest. You've already heard her voice.
Yes,
You've already heard sage
dropping
wisdom.
gems already.
You heard boom as she drops gems. Ladies and gentlemen, Allie Trost Martin, everybody.
Allie.
All right.
Look, another morning footy co-worker coming through.
Mike goes, how many, Mike, our producer, he's like, how many of our talent are you going to have on Golden? I go, it's only the third, by the way. And I really think that's just him low-key saying, when are you going to have me on?
Ooh,
Yeah,
okay.
for sure. He
You think-
loves it.
Yeah.
Master, you love this. You love
So,
it.
look, the first question I ask everybody who works with Alexis, you obviously start working with him at CBS Sports, the Lasso Network, and I think a lot of times people are like, oh, I've seen Alexis on clips on my Instagram. I see he can be a little wild, a little wacky. I don't know exactly what to expect. So tell me, what was it before you started working with Alexis? What did you think he was gonna be like? And now after working with him, tell me the harsh
See,
reality.
I try to go about life with no judgment. You know,
Okay.
I like to meet people.
Well, she's like,
and
but in this
just-
case.
You are better than we are.
Yeah,
Allie.
I don't think you get the vibe of this show, Allie.
All right, I'll see you guys later.
We need to be judging.
I
at
got a
all
train to
times.
catch. No, I really didn't come in with any judgments or anything. The only people I had worked with that were working at Galazzo at the time were Susanna, kind of, but we never really actually worked together. We were like ships passing in the night. Like we'd see each other at games and stuff when she was working with MLS. And then I had done like a couple like watch along streams for Major League Soccer that like Charlie was part of, sitting at his like mahogany bookcase set at his house.
His sailor captain's lair.
Yeah, like he may have been in a boat.
Yeah.
We're not really sure. So besides that, I didn't know Nico at all.
Mm-hmm.
I had met like Jenny Chu a few years back, but that had been like 5 years that had passed, and she was doing sideline for Orlando. So I didn't really like know anybody that well. I just remember my first day coming in. Once I found my way into the building, I think our first conversation was you talking smack about Emo's Pizza, which is
Yes.
a St. Louis
Right.
delicacy, if you will. It's not for everybody.
Right.
It's only for people with very special tastes, very expensive tastes.
They are called wild pigeons.
But it's like it's a very well-known St. Louis thing, but it's just a very unique style of pizza. So
Right,
I just remember like that was like the first conversation we had. But I don't know. I feel like we like hit it off like early on. I felt like that was something that really stood out to me about Galazzo, even from week one, was that everyone was so awesome to like just hang out with and
Just
like
being so
everything.
positive.
I know.
That's not
But,
what
like,
you expected.
That's also but, like that's just how.
Well, that's fair.
I'm-
That's good that you didn't go in with any like preconceived notions of what he would be like. But now,
'Cause you might have
obviously-
said no.
Yeah, now you share a
No.
desk together from time to time. You obviously do headlines for Morning Footy as well. But there has to be the moments of like, okay, how do I handle what Alexis just said? We're on live television.
Well, the perfect example, which I'm sure you've all played here on the show, was the foot joke.
Oh, yeah, the foot joke.
I was hosting. That was like I hadn't hosted that show many times either at that point.
No,
Suze was
yeah.
out for her wedding, so there was like a good run of shows, and we were talking about goalkeepers and
Well,
playing with your feet. And
Charlie and Nigel wouldn't stop having this argument because I think
Goalkeepers
Nigel
good with their feet. Good
not
with their feet.
letting
came
an
out.
argument go.
Yeah, one of the odds.
What?
I think Charlie felt like he should have been right, and it never got to the point where he was able to prove himself.
Yeah.
So it
And,
was
and
the
there were
final
only 30
segment.
seconds left in the show. Like it was
They
the
kept
show
saying-
was ending.
By the way, like off air, like there's no more tape. We gotta go. and we're all supposed to say goodbye and like give a prediction or whatever. And Charlie goes, "Do you think Manchester United cares about Onana's shot stopping or his feet?"
Yeah.
And I was just like, we had to stop it. I do want to give. I found a way to edit the scene, if you will, in an improv. I will give Ali some credit. If you watch the clip, you can hear you catch Morning Footy. You catch the footy part of that joke first.
Yes.
So you go Morning Footy like, oh wait, what am I saying?
I know. I was like, all right, that's gonna do it for us on morning footy. And then I said, and I go morning footy because I was like, oh my god, I need this to end.
That's
but
what
also
allowed me
keep
to
going.
tag it. That's what allowed me to go morning what? And that's
Perfect.
exactly where I cut the clip.
Right.
So,
That was intentional. I was doing that on
yeah,
purpose.
yeah. But I will
I knew what
say,
I was doing.
Ali gets like the humor part of it. She gets the bits, which is like most people I think are so uncomfortable or unused to having someone at the desk whose goal is to do what I'm doing.
Right, right.
So that one right there.
I
really
have
funny.
I have 3 younger brothers, and I will say they are some of the funniest people I know. I also
How disrespectful in
love-
front of the two of us.
no, but I like they are. First of all, always like ahead on like these like they make up like their own terms and stuff. Like we'll be in a group chat and like I'm in stitches and they're just like that's just how they talk.
Right.
So and like a lot of the jokes and stuff. I don't know. I feel like growing up
you go with the punches.
growing up in that setting, like I think obviously birth order affects a lot of who you turn out to be, but also like even like what kind of siblings you have. And being the oldest and only girl of 3 younger brothers has very much shaped me, I guess, into the person.
I mean,
that
Go
am
with the
today.
punches, which is good if you're going to live in New York.
Let's just.
Yeah,
There's women getting punched out here now.
okay, I'm not gonna lie. I'm a
Yo, I don't know what's
little
going on.
worried about that.
White
But you know
white
what?
women are. It's a boxing match you win without knowing.
Alexis just knocking out women.
Not me. My knuckles is clean.
Okay, I'm kind of hoping that being all of 5'1", like maybe I'm just like not even in their peripheral. Like
Nah,
they're
you
not
might
even,
have
they
to
don't
get
even
a,
see
you
me
might have to
down
take an
here.
uppercut.
This is ridiculous. All right. Let's just watch the clip real quick, just so we can, so people
Yeah, in case you
are
missed
aware.
it.
Doing right now at Manchester United. You think they care about his feet, or you think they care about him keeping the ball at the back of the net?
Give some respect. There's some people on the internet who probably care a lot about his feet.
And with that, we will just end the show. Thanks for watching Morning Footy. Morning Footy.
Morning what?
She said funny. She caught it first. She caught it first.
No,
That's
a
round of applause for her.
a classic
guys.
moment.
Fun times.
We were talking.
That was my first million view.
Hey!
Yeah, on my own personal.
How much money did you get from?
0 because I used CBS footage. It wouldn't let me monetize it.
We were talking before we started recording that you had a little bit of a comedic background. You were talking
Oh,
about.
I wouldn't say that much.
No, it counts. Don't.
No,
Don't
I mean,
diminish
like, I
it.
used to write skits for my sorority in college. I
That-
wouldn't call
hey,
that comedy.
that-
Now, were they funny? Yes. But, I wouldn't
But
call
at
it
least
comedy.
you know what you
And it wasn't all just me either.
you put in the work though. I just
You
even
did
have
something.
You did something
did
because some
something.
people do. Some people are terrified to even try to be funny.
Or some people will tell you they're funny. I could be funny. And they've never tried it once before. They've never attempted to write anything down.
I appreciate you guys gassing me up, but you guys haven't seen these skits. So
Oh,
this
so
is
it's only
terrible.
because we're going to knock you down.
Well, let's pull them up. Ali, I got him. I
Hold
got him
on.
right
The guy who
here.
punches women is here. Come on in.
Ducks under the
Have
table.
you seen that trend? I mean, maybe it was like a couple years ago. The sorority video trend of like opening a door.
Oh,
and
for
it-
like for Rush and recruitment
Rush
stuff.
recruitment, and it was like a terrifying image of like 400 blonde white women that it looked like a
like
horror
welcome
movie.
That-
you in.
What?
Honestly, low-key, like that's another reason why I did skit, because you got out of all those other responsibilities. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, I get to take the whole week off of Rush pretty much to write and perform a skit. Yeah, I'll
yeah.
do that. Are you kidding me? Like
Yeah.
that, or have 500 conversations with people wearing an ugly T-shirt. Like I'm not, like,
I was never. Well, you weren't in a.
I was not. No, I got in. I got. There was a friend of mine that tried to like invited me to parties, and he's like, and I was just like around the culture. I'm like, this isn't for me. And I went to college in Staten Island. This
Yeah.
is not. These are
That's
not
not
the
where you
people.
wanna be.
These are not the people I want to be
That's not where you wanna
in
be
a
in
fraternity
general.
with.
No.
Okay, I would be in prison right now if that was the case.
I went to Mizzou, which is like smack dab in the middle of Missouri and Columbia, Missouri. It's just like a true college town.
It's a
It was-
journalism school, right?
It's
That's
a
what
really
they're
good
known for?
journalism
Yeah.
school, and it was my state school, so it was like more affordable to go there.
Yeah.
It had the program that I wanted to fall into, even though I did zero broadcasting while I was in college. So that you have to find out what you don't like to know what you do like sometimes. And I think if I look back on college, it was a great chance for me to learn professionally, at least in a work setting, like what I
Totally.
do not like, and that was working in marketing. Like I was working, doing like content marketing one summer before my senior year, and I was like, I remember coming home and like I was living with my parents because it was in St. Louis where the internship was. And I was like, Dad, I hate this. Like I went into school wanting to do TV, and I feel like I got away from that because I didn't want to do the local news route, which was a large. That's where like a lot of the curriculum for the Missouri like broadcast program kind of went through, and I was like, well, I want to be like at the games. I want to be covering the games, and maybe I could have pushed harder and figured it out, but my path landed me here eventually somehow. So we got
Here
there.
you are.
We
I'm
got
at
there.
Cooligan
I'm on
Studio.
Cooligans,
Yeah.
bitches. Like, let's go.
I was a computer science major. I did IT for years, and this is where I ended up. So
What do you know about Diddy, bro? Release the tapes.
Use it for good.
I'm
Come
actually
on.
getting texts and messages from people like, "Yo, you
got access to the
you
servers
know
still?"
anything?" and look, I'll just say this. This is my statement. Look, I have nothing much more to say other than I worked for Sean John. I was a senior IT admin over there, and yes, Diddy sniffed me a few times. That's all I'll say. That's it. You
That's
can't.
it.
No more questions on the matter.
Join the Patreon if you want the rest of this story.
Okay, you gotta pay for that kind of access.
This is 100% true, by the way.
This is a
On multiple occasions.
This is 1,000,000,000% true, and that's it. That is all. If you got any other questions, patreon.com/soccercooligans.
Facts,
Okay.
facts.
Let's start
Yeah.
talking.
We'll tell you off camera.
Yeah.
Let's,
He'll tell
And I
you.
don't even need to pay for that. So.
Oh no, we're gonna take $3.99 every time.
put your credit card out.
We got Apple Pay.
Let's get to it. Let's talk some footy. Okay. Where to begin? MLS. Let's start with the MLS signings. Look, we're gonna go over a couple of things because there's a lot of drama in MLS and in NWSL and in U.S. Women's National Team news. So we'll get into all the tea. But LAFC just signed Maxime Chanot, and that is a little bit of a heartfelt and.
It's a bit of a gut punch.
Yes,
Yeah, for
because
you guys.
Yes,
Yeah.
because we are NYCFC fans.
We celebrated with him when we won MLS Cup
Yes,
as a team.
in 2021.
And I say we because we were working for the team.
we
we were at the
Did
party.
you, get
were
did you
there.
guys get rings?
We did.
We did get rid of
Yeah,
it.
there's a whole
Yeah.
video.
We were doing confetti angels in Providence Park.
special.
So it's very, very meaningful. But Maxime Chanot left NYCFC to join a
AJ
club.
Ajaccio.
Ajaccio.
Ajaccio, I think.
Ajaccio.
I don't know.
I think it's Ajaccio.
Don't know.
French, so.
Yeah. You
So-
guys are trying to
Don't
tighten
ask
it
me.
up.
I'm still working on the pronunciation.
So he goes over there and he says he wants to be playing in front of family, and that was the reasoning why he basically ended his contract with NYCFC. And
Psych.
and then we get the news.
I got family in LA too. Turns out.
No, when I say family, I mean like you fam.
Yeah, no,
we all,
for the family.
We all family.
Yeah.
But Chanot. Here it is. Chanot, is officially an LAFC player, and yes, look, it's difficult. Obviously,
This was like the emotional leader of the team. This was the rock of the team.
and yeah, so it's gonna be difficult to see him in an LAFC shirt. But this is look, it is what it is. LAFC, aren't having they
You see
haven't.
that comment? Why y'all signing really old players?
Yeah, he's what, like 34, 35?
yeah, he's 34.
But the
it
Duke
literally
is-
says it on the
yeah,
graphic.
but
I could just open
he
my
can
eyes.
still ball. He's a good ball. He's one of the. I thought in the maybe the previous 3-4 years, he was probably one of the better defenders in MLS, and he's also a very good defender with both feet. He can send diagonals with
He's
either
also
foot.
great on corners.
Great on corners.
Great aerial.
Yeah, and a good defender, and good on the ball. So it was a tough loss for NYCFC, and it's why I think NYCFC missed the playoffs last season. So him going to LAFC, look, we'll sort of.
Giroud is
Giroud is the other one. That's really the main
this
one.
is the big
Yeah.
one.
This is the big one.
Of French people, Maxime, as much as we love you, bruv, you take a back seat to Olivier Giroud and that jawline of his.
I mean,
So that's going to be an exciting move. So the move for Olivier Giroud to LAFC is probably the bigger deal. Tom Bogert was reporting on it of The Athletic. So look, this has come up on Morning Footy a whole bunch. This is the first time we get to address it here. But usually what comes up on proper sports shows and broadcasts is, look, is he sort of too old? Can he still contribute? I think Olivier Giroud is going to be fine. But on this kind of show, we talk about how is his handsomeness going to adjust to LA? Is he an LA 10
he's
still?
gonna love it.
Yeah.
Like, are you kidding?
Although, is he an LA 10 actually brings up a good
That's a
point.
good
This
debate.
is
That's
a good debate.
Because LA.
I'd say he's an LA 10.
You think so?
I absolutely think so.
I've also heard that he's only guy hot, which we found out. One of our fans, shouts to Cale Parker, we haven't talked in a while. One of our fans found us gushing over Sebastian Ledjet, and as we look into his eyes,
Yes,
And-
we argue that Sebastian Ledger is one of the most attractive players in Major League Soccer.
I almost think he's too attractive.
Is he the one that dated
Becky G.
Becky G.
And
That's
apparently
right.
somebody else.
Well, yeah.
wait, hold on.
I wasn't gonna get into all
I've been
that.
seeing
but I just-
there's some TMZ footage of them.
Yeah.
They might be back
There
together.
are signs that it might be working
I don't
out.
know. Alleged. I don't know. I don't want.
I hope it works out for the best.
They've both been on the show.
Yes.
And
Very cool.
we wish them the best. I
Yeah.
don't know what happened.
We love that union, and we love the music you're putting out.
Okay, but he's someone that would
We
be
were like, yo, you too
guy
pretty.
high.
Yeah. But we found out that a lot of women don't think he's that hot. He gets more of like an F-boy look to him, where only other dudes think that guy. Oh, everyone must think that guy's hot. That women
Got it.
typically don't.
Okay.
I mean, this
is ridiculous.
It's comical that anybody could think this guy.
It's insane that him and I are the same animal.
that somebody could think.
It's just insane.
God does pick favorites. Like,
100%.
You are a
He has
crazy
so much.
person if you think this man is not only just conventionally attractive, but just literally one of the most attractive people you've ever seen. That's my argument. So Olivier Giroud.
So now we turn. Alan, we don't even need you for this segment. Is Giroud hot?
you guys just gush. I mean, I think. Well, let's talk about like the production side. I just want to say I think Olivier Giroud is going to come in and be just fine on
Yeah,
the field
yeah.
for LAFC. I think like the conversation of, oh, are these guys just coming to like in their careers? Like Luis Suarez has kind of ended that conversation for me a little bit right now with how
Not yet.
he's doing right now.
It's a little too early to say that. No,
Okay.
I mean, come
He's,
on.
I mean, with his numbers right now, he's gonna put himself in.
It's like 5 games into the season. It's a long season.
Hani Mukhtar didn't score a goal for like months and was still like towards the top of the of the league
Yeah.
in scoring. So like, as long as you bag enough goals at one point, you
He's able
know,
to stay healthy for the whole season.
that's gonna be the big question.
Yeah.
Okay, but back to handsome Olivier Giroud.
Yeah.
So you think he's an LA 10?
I think
Okay.
so.
I'm a little worried about his sense of fashion.
Really?
Yeah, because he's very European. You know?
So, I
You
mean,
know?
look, he's French.
I bet you he's gonna have a lot of those tight jeans that are ripped all the way. You know what I mean? Just
Yeah,
a lot of
I know
rips.
exactly what you're talking about.
It's
Yep.
more skin than jeans.
Yeah. Also, random zippers everywhere.
Yes.
You know what I'm
This
talking
is a-
about?
this is a look.
and with like the just like the most starched like white short sleeve polo.
Yes.
Sure.
Yeah.
And like a chain,
100% a chain
the
over the
biggest
white
watch
shirt.
you've ever seen.
Yeah, one of my favorite for the French national team camps, the photos of them arriving to the Claire LaFontaine.
in,
They
the
look
suit.
really-
And then-
Yes.
but they come out of like these the cars. They look like from the 40s or whatever.
Yeah.
But
They're all contributing to the air pollution with the cologne that they're wearing.
but
I could smell those photos. They're 100%
it's its
right.
own catwalk.
It's
It's
insane.
like you have to show up.
Yeah.
To camp,
You
like
can't be looking dumpy.
Not
You off
at
the
all.
squad.
In the training kit,
Yeah.
the sweats. Nah, bro, you ain't serious about this.
Nah, Deschamps, like, bro, did you go athletic for the walk-in? No. We're all auditioning for 007, dog.
Remember, we went to Paris for Messi's first game when
The
he was at,
Cooligans honeymoon, whichever one.
when it was a beautiful time.
It was a transformative time, really.
It's where
I said transformative, Corbin. Transformative.
we'll get to that a little bit.
Relax. You don't have to, don't shut the podcast up just yet.
But well,
Corbin.
look, I'm just, Paris was where we conceived. Anyway, no, but the one thing I noticed while I was in Paris is the fashion game is there's some the standard is very, very high for everyone. There were toddlers that were dressed better than I was. There were old people that were giving wise advice.
Fashion out there is work.
Like literally women in their 60s and 70s in just great like rain jackets, like some galoshes, great pants, and just
Ain't
like
no H&M out there.
never heard of it.
Nah.
so that's the thing. So with a guy like Giroud, he's gonna bring some of that, but he's also not like he's not
He's not Parisian.
okay.
So
Maybe
there's
that's,
that.
maybe that's the difference. Okay.
Parisians are known for that.
Do you think that
fashion.
like sometimes these guys come to the league and like adapt a little bit? Like
I don't know. He feels like he's one of those that's like, I'm European. You know? This is the way we do it.
Well,
Yeah.
seeing him on
We don't have TAM.
seeing him do the interviews on the Champions League broadcast, he did a couple of them.
Yeah, him and Charlie are very close.
Yeah, he seems like a fairly like affable guy. He can like laugh at himself.
Were you part of the interview we did with him?
I don't think so.
I think what I found out is I didn't realize how religious he was. He's like he's a very God-fearing man.
Damn.
Yeah, I would have
Damn.
never thought about that.
Wow, him and Corbin gonna be like this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, damn. Hey, she plays at PSG. Maybe he starts by. They read the Bible together. And like, yeah. This is how I'm gonna live my life based on these sets of rules.
Okay, let's go. Jesus is king. Let's do it.
Jesus.
Gabriel Jesus is king.
Hey, Nico had a funny on Morning Footy today.
What'd he say?
That he was like, Easter Sunday, we've got a big Man City Arsenal game coming up, and he was like, we'll see if Jesus is risen.
Yeah.
That was good.
For him, that's not bad.
Well done.
Also, because it's Jesus in America.
Okay, they go hand in hand. All right. So, is any other? Do we have any other Giroud takes besides on his handsomeness or how he's gonna play? I think we're all set there.
I think we're all good.
I mean, I also think that signings like these are important for MLS, as much as people don't want to accept that having some of the game's bigger, more well-known stars is like important to the growth of the league. It is, and I think that's just like the reality. And he's gonna look nice on billboards in LA, which you already know that's in the works for sure.
I said a lot about Chiellini being too old, and he just bossed it.
That's like I feel like
I will
all
not
these,
say anything else.
all these guys like were always like, oh yeah, but he is this age, which is another thing too. I've talked with like a lot of different players who I think we need to like start rethinking what that age is that we start saying that a player is like older, because there's so many better resources available to these guys to like take care of themselves that it's not as much like, oh man, he's 30, there you go.
Bunch of millionaire vegans with abs.
Yeah, I mean,
Damn, son.
Sebastian Lletget does not have a single % of fat on that body.
No.
Okay.
Unless I'm sitting on his lap.
Well, that would end his career.
So moving on from the LAFC transfer news, we had some interesting social media action from a USWNT
What a way to put
player. Interesting is one word I can use. Yes, that's true. Corbin Albert got into some hot water for her likes and retweets on Instagram and Twitter. What do you guys make of the entire situation.
She is currently trending on X, which you do not want to be. And it's usually never for a good reason.
Not for the reason she's trending. You don't want to be.
No.
Look.
She didn't like score a banger of a goal.
Well, she did for PSG recently.
Yeah, but she ain't winning Champions League right now. That's not the reason she's trending.
Look, I just want to preface this with some care, because this is a young person, a young player.
She's 21. She can buy alcohol in this
She
country.
can. Look, this is always going to be my perspective, and I try to give people as much a benefit of the doubt until they are straight up 10 toes down saying things that I truly dislike. But hey, look, the evidence, we're seeing a crumb trail of like, okay, this might be something bad at the end of this trail.
I'm willing to suggest it's not circumstantial. I'm willing to suggest it's substantial.
So the specifics are, and I don't want to display.
For those who don't know, Corbin Albert kind of came on the scene recently in like the last year because of her stellar play with PSG.
Yeah.
PSG's women's team. She's American. She could play for the U.S. women's national team.
She does. She played at the Gold Cup, the Women's Gold Cup, and played well, and got even, I think, more just casual fans more interested in her career.
Especially too with the time, as you all know, like we're at with the U.S. women's national team, where there is a big changing in the guard. So there's more of a focus on these younger players because everyone wants to see what the talent pool looks like and the depth, and like really focus on these players,
And
probably
younger
more so
players.
than they would have. Yeah.
Let's get some younger players in there.
Yeah.
And now social media has changed everything.
100%.
If there's a musician I hear a song, like a rapper, Four Bats is one of the new rappers that have recently sort of hit the scene, probably an industry plant, come out of nowhere. And I'm like, yo, let me check out their social media. And not that many posts, but I was like, all right, I can't really go deep. Sometimes you can go deep. And in this case, I would say a lot of
things you will
fans,
find.
a lot of fans are like, hey, who's this Corbin Albert? Let me follow up on what her social media presence is like. And it turns out she's been liking a few things and she's been reposting a few things that may not sit well with her teammates, the fan base,
and
us.
that's the main thing. And the specifics are
Someone who doesn't wear a red hat.
most people can put two and two together, but there's a lot of posts that she's been liking and resharing.
Yep.
That
Let's be
is.
honest, it's transphobic, it's homophobic. I'm almost dying there. Is it hurt?
Are you okay?
Yeah, I just breathed in water. That's not a good sign.
So that's basically it. She's if you look at her, I the first ones I saw were the reposts on TikTok, and because she's been coming up on my feed dancing at the PSG training. She does dances with some of the other players.
right.
So I'm like, okay, maybe she's like Trinity Rodman and it's like real fun and out here having a good time. And then you look at some of the likes and the
Like,
reposts.
she's the exact opposite of Trinity Rodman.
Doesn't seem as fun, I'll be honest.
More dances.
Okay. And then, so as soon as those started getting shared on Twitter, then now, look, the USWNT Hive, they sting. They sting, bro.
And they serious.
They serious, and they ride for you if you are a person that is like, generally kind, inclusive, caring.
Hey, listen, soccer fans come in all shapes and sizes and sexual preferences and all that. And so if you're going to play in front of them, you should be welcoming of everyone. That's how I feel.
Yeah.
Corbin Albert, maybe not so much.
So based on this,
or the Albert family.
Yeah.
yeah, and based on the on her social media, you can maybe think or assume that one, she's definitely a very religious person, and then also,
Which is fine.
Which I that's fine to me. Where I the one that I had a really big issue with was the post about Megan Rapinoe's injury. And Megan Rapinoe is very vocal about a lot of different causes, which it has been something that I think even her teammates over the years and the fans have credited her for, because it's really helped give a voice to some of those underserved communities that do make up.
She's a queen on this show. Megan Rapinoe we're big fans.
And she's used her platform to advocate for so many different things. And whether or not you agree with those things or not, you have to give a lot of respect to what Megan Rapinoe has done, not just for women's soccer and soccer as a whole, but for a lot of really important causes to a lot of people. And whether Corbin Albert agrees with those or not, you should never wish injury on anybody. And that was one of the posts that came out that she had liked, was after Megan
It's on the
Rapinoe
screen right now.
suffered that that injury in the final game. And like that to me, it's, believe what you want to believe, but if you're getting into a place where you're wishing injury or liking things, like even in this realm, like this is not I just like can't even wrap my head around
it's
this one.
difficult, especially if you're like, this was last year or just a couple months ago. You're in, I don't know if you had gotten been called up already for the U.S. Women's National
Probably
Team.
part of the youth.
But the youth level,
setup.
once you're at the youth level, U12, that's it. Like,
even
social
if you
media.
know Megan personally and don't like her,
Yeah.
keep it to yourself.
There is no need to, mention anything like this.
100%. And I think like what it all kind of comes down to with me right now is like, keep it to yourself. And I think we have seen, especially when you're in that role, that position, right?
Yeah.
That stuff is going to come out if you don't have the right advisors around you to help you with like your social media. And the reality is like, yeah, you're young, you're only 20 something years old. Like maybe some of these likes and things go back to when you were a teen, but like, hey, figure it out. Like that to me, it's like, when I see that stuff happen, I'm like, sorry, then like that's kind of on.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
like,
a lack of professionalism. Even when I got the CBS thing,
Yeah, it's
my agent
not-
was like, yo, scrub the internet, dog. You said some dumb stuff on stage that can be taken out of context. Because I think now that you've met me, I'm not saying anything I don't think anything that would upset a group of people, any group of
No.
people. But I'm,
And people
someone could take that out of context, take that out of it because I know you didn't mean that. You don't want that stuff getting ahead of you. And I was like, that's just smart. I deleted some of my jokes. I kept some up that I know were just a little bit more benign. But this is...
Yeah.
I mean, this must be, and she must come from, I'm only guessing here, I don't know, but this feels like maybe like a bit of a toxic family situation where you're either like them or you're maybe outcast. That's the only thing I can think of because her family is very clearly. Let's just say, I don't know what they were doing on January 6th.
Yeah.
But,
Look, we could look.
I think their Amazon orders had grappling gear before. Is all I'm going to say. On January 5th, there was some tactical gear that was delivered
I don't want
to their
to put
house.
them on screen or anything, but because
I mean, this was a public...
It is. I'm just saying, look, we also work with U.S. Soccer to some degree and stuff like that. So I don't want to, it's not about just kind of dumping on a player. I think there's I think there's a deeper conversation and a more serious conversation in regards to what the future of U.S. soccer, what it's going to look like in regards to players that want to use their platform to advocate for something, right? Mm-hmm. If she wants to be a religious person and advocate for certain things regarding Christianity, I think that's totally fair. But if it is about excluding people in any way or mocking or especially marginalized communities in the country, then there has to be some sort of boundary, especially because some of the players that you play with represent those marginalized communities, right? Like somebody was making an example about religious people that are inclusive, like Stephen Colbert is one of them, right? Stephen Colbert is one of my favorite comedians, very Catholic. I grew up Catholic as well.
I also think we need to stop always kind of lumping religion and being transphobic or like homophobic into the same
100%.
space.
And that does happen a lot, but I think there are examples. It's good to point out examples of look, you can be both. It doesn't matter. I think people tend to assume you're one way if you're religious, and it's not true. Stephen Colbert is a great example.
Exactly, and it's like somebody who is deeply sort of knowledgeable about his religion. The dude, he read all the Lord of the Rings books and the Bible. My man knows his stuff.
Bro, you're reading, bro.
My man's a reader.
A lot of books.
But more than that, it's like when I hear Stephen Colbert talk about religion, I hear him talking about it as from a place of love and something that is deeply important to him.
I love what you just said there because I think what it comes down to is what's the baseline you're operating from? Is it from a place of love and respect and even if it's something that you don't understand but want to understand more because you're going about it from a place of love and respect. And so that's why I don't necessarily always care what people believe or why they believe it, but what is their motivation and how are they going about that belief system. And if it's not from a place of love and respect and understanding, then it's hard for me to try and unfortunately, the content that was shared is not respectful.
Not a lot of love going on there.
Not a lot of love. And so I think that's, kind of back to what you said about professionalism. The reality today is that social media and your social media presence is a huge part of your job as an athlete. Like that is your job, is to play soccer. And as part of that job, you have an online presence. And that online presence helps you also do things like get partnerships and brand deals and things that also help supplement your income and stuff and you know, whatever else, grow your, like, that's not your primary job, but it's like
her sponsorships are going up. She's starting to sell the Trump Bible.
That was crazy, by the way.
She sleeps on my pillow.
Her comforter is made from the thousands of evidence and stuffed ballot boxes.
And so maybe like it, but I also look at it too as like, you know, again, it's hard to have good relationships with your teammates if you're not doing things out of respect. And I don't know anyone who's going to see that like on the Megan Rapinoe tweet and think anything but that's coming from a place of pure hate and negativity and just not like that's not somebody that I that's a lot of trust that has to be built back up for me if I'm a teammate in the locker room.
The story I think goes deep. Like her father told her like growing up she wasn't allowed to play soccer until Megan Rapinoe said, "I'm not going to the fucking White House." And that's when her dad was
Now
like,
you got to get in there.
her dad was like, "You know what?
We'll
I
go to
got
the
a
store.
plan.
I'm getting you some cleats.
I got a plan."
The one thing I say, look, and you know, the video, especially with her family.
You can't look. You don't pick your family.
You
know
don't
what
pick your family, but this
this is why I'm glad my family doesn't have social media. Not because they'd be doing this, but the stuff they would be doing would be very embarrassing.
This is where like I feel sort of bad for her. And my assumption is that, look, she's a young person, and maybe this is the family she grew up in. And in the last 10 years of politics have been awful. And then,
Truly.
but then also,
like, if we don't, I could care less how you vote, as long as you don't purposely show a disdain for someone that is just of another group.
It's not even, I guess,
it's not fair.
It's not even about politics. It's like political discourse has gotten so
polarizing
but also corny, right? Because this is like the parents making the
This
jokes
is
about
cringe.
it's making pronouns and you know, things about transgender and non-binary, and then it's like making just fun of that. And now even this week, DEI is now the new thing to be upset about. So I just feel like Corbyn might be just in this just cringe ass family that all they focus is on the keywords that MAGA tells them to focus on. And it's like, I'm supposed to dislike these things because I've been told to.
Isn't she in this video?
She is in this video.
Yeah.
Just embarrassed. You should be embarrassed.
I was gonna say you also have to give her like a little bit of responsibility to be like,
No, I
hey,
am. I'm
maybe this
giving her
is
a
your
little.
family.
21?
Exactly.
No,
At 21?
I agree, but I also think too, like, and maybe yes, maybe no, like, I think all of us will look back on things from years past in our lives and be like, that was kind of like cringe to me. That was like, I don't feel that way about that anymore. And, stuff. And so I don't know her personally. It's hard for me to like speak. All I know is what, like, you know, I'm seeing, and I come at it from the angle of, what are you doing? Honestly, none of this is what you're doing.
History's not going to be kind to this. You know
no,
what I mean?
no.
Guess how many times this is going to be brought up? Always and forever.
Always and forever. And
Always and forever.
Take it away, Alexis.
It's a thing that comes up in stand-up comedy a lot, right? Because, you know, a lot of comedians now, they choose to, you know, either make fun of trans people or make fun of that community or find marginalized communities to make fun of, and
to acquire that audience.
Yeah, and then, but you, even people watching it now could be like, this doesn't. Like, if you look back at my comedy 10 years ago, there wasn't any jokes like that because not because I wasn't a good enough comic to even try to make the jokes. But my instinct is I'm not trying to make fun of marginalized people for no reason, for the sake of making fun of them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Simply because a lot of people are talking about them at the moment, and you're annoyed to acknowledge their existence and stuff like that. So that's the annoying thing about this. And I think the standard for you're gonna represent the U.S. men's national team, the U.S. women's national team, you have to care. You're representing the country.
It is a massive, massive responsibility.
Very much so.
It is, and you have to deal with the consequences of that. And I think the consequences of this, I don't know what effect it has on her call-ups and stuff, but I would just imagine that the reaction from the players on that
the teammates, it's more that. That's the bigger deal, probably.
Is going to be very strong. And yes, like the fan reaction very much matters too. Those are the people that you're, you know, wearing the badge and playing for. 100%. But like that, I think that this
Well-
is I'm very curious to see how this plays
We'll
out.
see.
because
Find out
this
real
is-
quick.
I mean, if Corbin Albert starts getting like hat tricks every game, people are gonna be like, all right, I don't know.
Maybe it's the hate.
But okay, you know what? Like I'll say the quiet part out loud. We do that, with domestic violence situations,
Yeah,
and,
yeah,
and I'm
happens
not
all the
trying
time.
to compare situations, but
No,
like
yeah,
we
yeah.
do that
The
like in
quiet
the
part at all.
NFL.
You're on
like,
this show. That's
like
the
no,
loud
but like
part.
that's like I mean we like how many situations in other professional like men's sports, for example, do we just like, oh wow, I'm so angry about this, and then it's like, oh man, he had a really good season. You know,
Right,
it's
right,
and
yeah.
Two games
But I
suspension.
also
Yeah, yeah.
think
My
too,
fantasy football.
the current state of like media right now also feeds into that too, right? Because we've all become desensitized to things because of how the news cycle works. And I mean, it's just the reality of the world that we live in, for better or for worse. And I mean,
I'm curious to see. If U.S. Soccer will address this at all, and I'm curious to see if any of the player. It might be something that's just held in house, and maybe they just tell her like, "Yo, that's it. No more posting anything," and maybe it will just quietly kind of go away. But you know what? Personally, I love that this is becoming a thing because the fan base is not gonna tolerate intolerance, and they're gonna address it. It might, Emma Hayes might still call her up, and because she's a good player, and I understand that. And if she affects the team negatively, then she will not get called up anymore.
That's something for the players.
But
to
I
decide,
think
for
the fans
sure.
have a say here. Like, hey, we don't like that this player is representing the team, and have that discussion, have that discourse.
but do you think that like she would not get called up because of like the fans alone?
It depends how loud it is.
Yeah, if it becomes a distraction, then yes, you probably won't.
I'm gonna assume it's not loud enough because there's a lot of U.S. Women's National Team fans, but then how many of those are on Twitter having those arguments, having those discussions? Like I'm looking at Corbin, her trending. She's trending on Twitter 2,164 posts. That's not enough to get the attention, I think, of U.S. Soccer to be like, we can't call her
It's
up.
also just not going to stop. And I mean, it's just going to continue. And then wait till 4chan hears about that. It's just going to keep going.
So best of luck.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens going forward.
She wants to be called Kanon. Just so you know.
And we're sticking with the drama on this episode. It's been a very dramatic off-the-field episode.
International breaks tend to always just bring stuff to the surface.
We
People
ain't got
are
nothing else to talk
bored.
about.
Dang,
Yeah.
like.
We got nothing else to talk about.
Well, we got a lot to talk about with this story because Emil Forsberg, who just recently joined New York Red Bulls, has been caught in some hot water, I guess, for allegedly ditching his family in Germany.
Bro, he
and
pulled a
ghosting
Miguel
them.
Guerreros.
Wow, you're bringing him up.
I mean, what do you
Straight
guys
up.
think? I'm sure
So
it's crazy.
yeah, so just to add some more detail, Emil Forsberg's
His wife and mother of his children found out he got transferred to Red Bulls when he went to New York Red Bulls.
Okay, but doesn't that bring up questions about like that existing relationship already? Because that's crazy. Like if my husband, like I'm trying to put myself in a similar boat there.
Right.
I feel like there would have been more like writing on the wall there.
Yeah, there's clearly something we don't know
I
about
don't know.
this
He
relationship.
went to the grocery store to pick up dinner, and then he just didn't come back.
Yeah.
Then he was in New York City playing for Red Bulls. It was
By the
crazy.
way, it happens. Okay, my child is an
It's like
example.
my husband. He went to to Whole Foods to get some groceries,
Right.
and then he signed for Real Madrid.
Yeah.
Like what?
Yeah, you're gonna go get milk. Why are you taking all that luggage?
I didn't know you needed your passport to go to the grocery store. Like,
So this is a
Why do you have that, Liberty crown on your Lady Liberty crown on
you
your
had an I Heart New York T-shirt on. Like,
So the way we found out about this was
When
because
did you get a bag that looks like a big apple?
so Emil Forsberg's wife posted on.
She took it to the gram, dog.
She went to the
Yeah.
gram and put out a whole statement. There was a tweet. The first tweet I saw was from a guy at Dazzolino, but he was retweeting the original post that was in Swedish.
Yeah, so this has been translated.
This has been translated, and it basically
I'll read a part of it. We shall part ways. Words I thought I would never utter after 2 children and 19 years together, and that still feels unreal.
Okay, so
Brutal start.
That's a bad-
If you are Emil Forsberg's PR person.
and there's a lot of words to come after that.
There's
Like,
yeah.
so many more paragraphs.
essentially, the rest of the statement is I didn't know you were going to the Red Bulls.
She said a new start in New York was apparently a new start for you in your life.
Since you haven't communicated at all, apart from stating that you can't explain your actions, time which what a horrible response from him. Oh, babe, I don't know. I just can't explain my actions. Time will tell what it was you wanted to achieve by ghosting your family. Wow.
Ghosting a girl you went on a date with.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe people could let it slide.
Happens.
Wait, it's your
Maybe
wife?
you went out on a date with someone and then you find out that her likes on TikTok.
We're a little bit not
Just
up
to the
par.
right of what you're more comfortable.
But then when it's your wife of 19 years and you also have 2 children, it's not a great look.
She might not be Swedish. She might be Latina. And I'll tell you why. Because this sentence right here, for your sake, I hope you have no regrets and that your new life in New York is worth a divorce and the way you treated your children and their mother.
So why the font change there?
I don't know why I got smaller.
That one
but
got-
not even,
we went
not
from
even to say
13.
me and their mother. Your children. You're gonna do this to your children's mother.
Now, I will say.
And
as
what
someone-
about your children's mother's kids?
I will say, I don't know if she has a PR background or has worked with somebody, but she hit on every single
Yes.
emotional trigger that you could for anyone reading
Without
this.
a doubt.
And I don't know what he could possibly
No.
say to
Yeah, yeah.
as a rebuttal.
His
Yeah.
response, I'm waiting for his response more than Drake's.
He honestly, to me, like reading that, he just needs to kind of lean into it because
Yeah.
I don't know what else you can say. If you
Yeah,
are
yeah.
already going to like do that to your family, like you kind of just need to make that your new identity.
Yeah,
I think.
Right.
Like,
It's,
that's
he needs to do a press conference with his new family. Right? He just needs to be like, look, this is why
Yeah.
I had to go.
Bro, she got no gag reflex, dog.
I mean, yeah, okay, we'll work on the statement. We'll work on the
And
statement.
then like, okay, be honest.
Okay,
Yeah.
good start.
Yeah.
No, I mean,
Also, where did you learn this English?
you listen to Ali Trostman too much. You don't go too much.
Don't
with it.
lean in, my
Don't lean
guy.
in that hard.
He's had a family here the whole time. Like there's no other.
I need to see photos of him walking down the street holding Julia Fox's hand. You know what I mean? I want to know you went full. You
Yeah,
lost
yeah.
it. You went full New York.
This is look. This is all.
Imrata's new boo.
Just dating Timothy Chalamet.
Emil Forsberg
Dude,
is-
has anyone seen Pete Davidson?
Good point. Good point. He's a good point.
This is a look for more than anything. Look, it's all legend. First of all, I don't know. Like
This, I mean, we could take part of. I mean,
this is. It seems like. Look, I haven't heard any statement from him yet. I just don't want to get
what's he
anybody in
gonna
trouble.
say? My bad, y'all.
She's right.
But this is a wild scenario because look, even when Red Bull signed Emil Forsberg, he was at RB Leipzig, and there was
Also,
a
like we heard about it for months before it
right,
actually
but
happened.
there was a little bit of like, the Red Bulls never be signing anybody
Yeah,
like
yeah.
big coming over, right? Like players that are like kind of in their prime, and
They
then-
don't send the prime players over.
No.
If anything, they'll send like youth players, stuff like that. Like
Exactly.
the way City Football Group does for NYCFC. It's like, oh, here's a player that we think
yeah.
he'll eventually play for City, but let's see what he can
But
do over there.
Forsberg is like was still crushing
Yeah,
in
yeah.
Champions
He's
League
doing
and
all
everything.
right, yeah.
And now that when they signed him, and he's had already a good start, a couple assists, got a goal, and then but now
Yo,
when
imagine Giroud's family. He leaves Giroud leaves his family.
But
everyone who gets the transfer.
But now
I think
that
you
I
already
see
did that once,
now that I
Alexis.
see this
point.
of like, oh, why did he approve the move to Red Bull? And now that I see this, I'm like, oh, he's trying to get away from something.
MLS is like the Love Is Blind set. It's like, hey, come out here and we're gonna.
Apparently, it's Temptation Island.
And seriously, it sounds like it.
So
Jeez. They were like, hey, do you want to go to New York? Anywhere, dude. Anywhere,
New
bro.
Jersey, I love it.
I don't care, bro. Harrison been waiting my whole life, dog.
Okay.
I had a Harrison poster on my wall,
The
dog.
big city,
Yo.
Harrison, New Jersey.
The not as big apple, of course, dog. Lo amo.
Que lo que?
Yo, I would love to be 300 feet from Newark, New Jersey. Are you kidding me?
So look, I the main thing after
The PATH train. Oh, I can't wait.
from the movie.
That one movie.
Love that play. So the main thing here for me is like, look, a scorned wife. I understand she could be
American Dream Mall is how far? Oh, damn.
I only recently heard of this place, by the way, and I was like, it's a what?
They
Like,
have
go
a ski
skiing
slope.
Yeah, you can
That's
see.
wild.
Can you surf in there as well or something?
I know
Get
they
out
have
of
an
here.
ice skating ring.
Bro.
We're selling them on this, bro.
I don't trust that.
Auntie Anne's, bro.
Yeah.
So this,
Jimmy Hoffa's buried where? Oh, I gotta go. Get me out of Leipzig, bro. I need to go right now.
Oh my
Okay,
god.
but okay. In all seriousness, if you're the New York Red Bulls and you see this, like, aren't you kind of questioning like that player's intentions for coming over and they're like how serious they're taking the footballing side? Unless he's like,
No, the fans are like, we don't care, dude.
You know, he's too good. He's too good of a player.
He's a good midfielder. We'll take him.
okay, but like we saw two really good players go to Toronto FC without the right setting, and it
It's
didn't know
working
like
now.
it's working now. But like, it's
Check
just
my
I
statement
think
if he's vaping now.
we've seen a lot of times like in MLS, like just because a good player comes over, like LA Galaxy never made the playoffs with Zlatan on their
Yeah,
team.
but what
so.
we found out about Emil Forsberg is that he brings no baggage with him. He's coming free.
My man, he's
Not-
living a minimalist lifestyle.
His shoulders feel so much less
No
weighed down.
distractions.
Yeah, he's got no
Goes home,
distractions at home.
My man is
Yeah.
focused on the game and the
Yeah,
game
man.
alone.
Does keepy up he's an apartment by himself
Yeah.
when he gets home.
You
My
got
man
me
can't
there.
even hear crying babies,
No.
bro. He's so focused.
He's solely focused on football and some other stuff, but mainly football.
He's like, child support? Oh, sorry, no speaking
No,
English.
no.
Well, the full Sammy Sosa in court. Y'all know
Perdón, perdón. No entiendo.
So look, I will say, scorned wife. Yeah, this is. I understand
He's
the
watching
statement,
Game Tape and Hinge. That's it.
but you feel bad for the idea of obviously of ghosting two children. Not and like why it seems like he's like going no contact on his family is disgusting. I hope I hope it's not the case. I hope it's not true. But yeah, this is kind of just such a ridiculous development. And yeah, for the
What would
sake
you do
of
if he was liking posts and sharing posts of other families? What would you do? What would you do, dude?
No, he liked the post of Corbin Alvarez.
We didn't say he was a monster.
that's the kind
Allie, we just said he left his family without saying goodbye. He's not a monster.
Okay, well, Emil, bro, I don't know what to tell you, man. I hope everything works out with the
I
whole
hope
family.
that in the future you can show respect and consideration for the others despite your needs.
This is-
Yo, this is Latin mom levels
This
of
is-
guilt.
and this was originally in Swedish, bro. It must have went hard
Bro, a
in
lot
Swedish.
of Blorgans in there, bro. A lot of Jürgen, Blurgens, Flurgens, dude.
Oh,
my
man,
God.
you don't want to. You see the umlaut.
Yo,
in there.
you got a lot of umlauts, dog. Yo, I'm
like-
scared.
It look like
dude.
bullet holes.
Dude, I wonder what ghosting translates to.
It's probably
That's what I'm wondering.
Glubenbergen.
All right.
bro.
Well, you know what? We're gonna
find
We're
out.
gonna wrap up the show.
Are we gonna retranslate it from?
No. We're gonna look up how to say ghosting in.
Oh well, but
in
will-
Swedish.
Will they know the term?
Okay. I mean, hopefully.
I mean,
gotta
she knew
swear.
it.
Yeah.
She said ghosting.
Ghosting. All right.
That might be.
Okay,
oh
you're
yeah.
s-
Do you know how to spell
Spoken. It's
ghosting?
spoken.
Oh wait, my bad. I didn't see ghosting.
I
Okay.
found it. It's
Spoken. Hit the button so we can hear it.
Okay. Here goes.
Spöken.
Spoken. How dare you spoken your family?
Damn, bro.
It's honestly better when you just sprinkle in the
Yeah.
different
You
words.
hit him like Spanglish.
Y'all
you go
didn't think
Swanglish?
y'all didn't think
Swanglish,
you were
there
gonna
you
be hearing roast in Swedish. That's why you come to this show
Or
for,
like,
bro.
yeah. That's,
What are you gonna say? Deadbeat?
Oh, you don't talk.
Död takt.
Wait, hold on.
Död takt.
Dirt talk. How dare you spoken? You dirt talk.
Okay.
Why do I feel like Jimmy Fallon?
I don't know what's going
My
on.
head movement.
You're leaning too far into the Swedish, bro.
I might hit Duolingo Swedish just to be able to have this conversation. You know what I mean?
Next Swedish play, you have a morning footy.
Yeah.
Alexa.
actually, no. We're gonna have Alexis read the entire statement in Swedish.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Crying while holding a bunch of American Girl dolls.
Okay.
Well, just so you know, Emil Forsberg, you built a couple more Alexas.
okay. You're gonna turn them into sports broadcasters.
with a comedic background.
Okay, let's wrap up the show. Ali Trost Martin, thank you so much for
you
hanging out with
guys
us.
for having me.
I will give you a shout out in a second. I just want to make sure we give a shout out to Midge Purse, who
Yes.
we
Yes.
learned.
Get
Obviously,
better,
she
please.
posted that she tore her ACL in the game against Portland.
Got it.
Providence Park.
I was watching.
Artificial
Dude.
turf taken another ACL again.
Yeah,
You
I
hate
was
to see
watching.
it.
She went down crying, came back up, finished the half, but you could tell something was going on
Yeah.
towards the end of that
dude.
half.
Really, really bad. So
She is such an incredible player and has really started to hit that stride where you can just tell like she's
Top form.
reaching new levels of her
Yes.
career and has
Yeah.
evolved her game in ways that is not only, as we saw, so crucial to Gotham, but for the U.S. women's national team too.
Yeah.
Some of that service from the outside that was lacking creatively for the U.S. in the World Cup and in other big, matches and competitions, Midge was like, oh my gosh, this is a huge answer from this position. And she's just like slicing and dicing people left and right, like wishing Midge Purse the speediest and just best possible recovery. I hope you know you will come back stronger. And like ACL issue in
Sucks
women's
you gotta do it
soccer.
again.
It sucks.
I
Yeah.
know.
It really sucks. You gotta do it
I was
again.
at the NWSL Championship and I was on the sideline while Midge is like running past me, past
She's so
past
good.
defenders, and I'm just like, yeah, this is. It's like I was so happy for her in that moment, and then seeing this year felt like okay, she's gonna play in the Olympics, she's gonna get more opportunity.
Ali Krieger said the same thing. She said that the way that she's really like developed some of the parts of her game that like providing that service and really picking out that runner in the box, like next level stuff.
Yeah,
and she's
absolutely.
able to get herself like whether she's going like 2v1, 3v1 at times,
Yeah.
like she can get herself open and pick out that. And it was showing she could really pick out that pass wherever somebody was coming in with some loft on the ball on the ground. I'm just gutted
such a
for her.
dynamic player
Yeah.
and someone that we could have really used in the Women's World Cup.
Without a
Yeah.
doubt.
You're gonna come back stronger. Don't worry about
Yeah.
it.
All right, Midge, let's
love
go.
you, Midge.
Let's go, Midge. All right, Ali, thank you so much
Thank you,
again.
guys. This is fun.
This was the best. You absolutely crushed it. Make sure you follow Ali Trost Martin on everything, right? Is also Ali Trost Martin on Instagram, correct?
Yes,
Okay,
yeah.
so ALY, you see it on screen.
ALY,
ALYTROST Martin. So Ali, you're
And when you
obvi-
see her, call her Ali Trost Martinez. You know what I mean?
she loves it.
That's who she
that's
is
a
now that
thing.
she's been on the show. He went from Mike to Miguelito. Now you're Ali Trost Martinez.
Martine. Yes,
Okay.
exactly.
Also, your husband also has to go by Martinez as well.
Yeah.
So that's
the whitest dude alive.
So thank you so much for joining us. Obviously, you're on Morning Footy all the time, so
Yeah,
go watch
right.
it.
Well, tomorrow. I don't know when this is gonna air.
Yeah.
But.
This is gonna air tonight.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
cool.
so-
So tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
So for
Catch
those
us
of you
there.
listening in the morning, park your car.
Park your
and
car,
pull
yeah,
up
don't drive.
Golasso on the phone.
Yeah,
Exactly.
tomorrow's my last day hosting the show before Suze is back next
Yeah.
week, but I'll be on headlines next week. So
Nice.
I'll see you guys in that
Amazing.
way.
Ali Trost Martin, thank you so much. Make sure you follow us at Soccer Cooligans on all socials. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Shout out to the person who left a comment on our YouTube that said that
they're gonna be so mad about this episode.
that
bro.
we made that he said, I wish you guys talked more about the games. You guys make too many jokes.
Yeah, it's all jokes. Well, I hope you buckled your seatbelt today, dude.
It wasn't.
But honestly, thanks for listening.
I hope you hopped in a car seat today. Like, a seatbelt may not even be enough.
So shout out to that person. So yeah.
Wait, were there any questions I had to answer?
Oh,
I didn't want
I'm so
to. I
sorry.
didn't want to leave
Okay,
anybody
yeah.
hanging.
There was
We could add this to just our audio.
Jenna Broom asked the question: which two teams play Ali's dream match and where?
Ooh, that's a really good question. So it's hard because I think I would almost need to like create my own teams of like my favorite players over the years. No, but like honestly, like I'd want to see, and like the women's game is where like my love of soccer really like began. So I mean, I'd love to see. I'd love to see the '99 Women's World Cup team play like the 2015 World Cup U.S. Women's National teams.
That's actually kind of
I'd
fun.
love to see that.
Was there anybody? There was no one on the '99 team that still
I
was
don't
on.
No.
I don't think so.
No. Not in 2015.
No, not 2015. 2011. Yes, there should have been. No, not
No.
Abby. Abby wasn't on the 99. No. There had to be somebody.
No.
Anyway.
Yeah,
but yes.
maybe there was, but those
Yeah.
would be like, I think that would be like so cool to see, like in their primes.
Yeah.
Up against each
Yeah,
other.
it would be
Mia Hamm
interesting.
was like my favorite player growing up.
That
I
would
wanted
be
to be
one.
her when I was a kid.
I read Brian Ascuri's book and
Yeah.
but hearing her talk about certain players, especially like Michelle Akers, if Michelle Akers could play in today's era, that just would be so wild to me because she seemed like one of the not crazy, but just reckless with her own body to defend the crest. You know what I mean? So
One that she had to iron on herself before games.
right.
Yeah.
When we
Yeah.
interviewed her.
So
Oh, unreal.
Yeah.
Like,
that would be a fun game to watch for sure. All right, okay.
For me, it would be, I guess, Corbin Albert's family versus versus the Fox News Best 11. It'd be a friendly. unfortunately.
That's a good
Friendly match. Everyone wins or loses.
I'm trying to think of if I can answer this question in a serious way. And not, can you answer it in a serious way?
Yeah, actually, it would be. It would be the Invincibles.
Okay.
The Arsenal Invincibles versus this year's team. Because I
a good
love
one.
how defensively stout they are and how high they
Interesting.
press. It's not like my ultimate dream.
Yeah.
But I would love that. To go on yours, I would love to see the team that played against Algeria, the
Yeah.
U.S.
Yeah.
men's national team that played against Algeria versus the '94 team. I would love to see that.
Okay. I mean,
Tony Meola, Tim Howard. You know,
Yeah.
you got
my initial thought is that
94
20
team going to dust them.
Yeah. no. I think it's the reverse.
Really?
Yeah. I
that
think,
94 team had some dogs. Like they were like
But-
playing.
But
they
I
were
think that
crazy.
the
Landing
the
Clint-
2010 team,
Landing Clint.
I think but I think quality of not light years, but much better
Yes.
than the 94 team. I think,
Yeah, of course. The '94 team is going to get dusted. Is what
Oh,
I
I
said.
thought you meant
No,
the
I'm like,
2010
yo,
team
you
would get dusted.
crazy.
Okay, got it. All right.
No.
I think it would start out as a good game, and then I
Yeah.
think that quality would shine through.
Okay.
I would love to see that.
I don't even.
That'd be
I can't
fun,
even
though.
think of what scenario. I don't even know. I mean, maybe I was thinking that was the first one that came to mind. That 2010 USMNT team. But I'm like, who I don't know who they would play against.
'94. I did it for
No,
you. We did
okay.
it as a team.
Look at that.
We
We're
did it as
done.
a team.
Look at
Well
you
done.
guys.
You're welcome.
Alex Rose Martin, thank you
Yeah.
so much for joining
Thank
us.
you,
Thanks for having us on your
guys.
podcast. Alex.
It's my
Y'all the
show now.
absolute best. We will see you. I won't be here next Monday. Christine Cooper will be subbing
Hey.
in.
Just me and the Coop.
It's my son's first birthday.
Oh, exciting.
We're gonna be hanging out this
I'm,
weekend.
unlike Emil Forsberg, I'm gonna be there for him.
Until I get in your ear. Have you seen Leipzig? We should move our podcast.
It's lovely this time.
Don't
of
say
year.
anything to anyone.
So Koopa will be here next week, but I'll be back next Thursday. So make sure you tune in on Monday. All right, everybody. Y'all the absolute best. We'll see you then. Peace.
Love you guys.